Hi, good afternoon everybody. Welcome to this meditation space. I decided to do this afternoon. I've just come off a beautiful call all about Christ consciousness, and so I thought that would probably be the theme for today. I've picked out some things to read to you. So I hope you're all feeling well wherever you might be in the world right now, and please say hi and where you're tuning in from. And thank you for giving yourselves this space this afternoon. So I'll start by hi Kala, hi Greg, hi Star, hi EJ, much love to all of you. So I'm going to read this thought for Christmas. The real celebration of Christmas is the realization within ourselves of Christ consciousness. It is of the utmost importance to every man, whatever his religion, that he experience within himself this birth of the universal Christ. The universe is the body of Christ, everywhere present within it, without limitation, is the Christ consciousness. When you can close your eyes and by meditation expand your awareness until you feel the whole universe as your own body, Christ will have been born within you. You will know that your mind is a little wave of that ocean of cosmic consciousness in which Christ dwells. Self-realization fellowship has started the idea of devoting one day at Christmas time entirely to meditative worship of Christ, and that idea shall never die. Just as we are at the Los Angeles headquarters and celebrate the birthday of Jesus spiritually by an all-day meditation on December the 23rd, let the 23rd be used by all devotees of Christ for the spiritual Christmas. Pass the entire day in ever-increasing deep meditation. Then spend December the 25th as the social Christmas, observing the festivities of the sacred season with relatives and friends. One of the most encouraging signs of spiritual rebirth in the world today is the increased willingness of Christians to observe the birth of Jesus by these long meditation meetings. The spiritual custom of Christmas meditation will be in time adopted by all Christians. I predict it. That's by Paramahansa Yogananda. And today's date. There is a vast difference between imagination and self-realization. If you only imagine, you may have subconscious dreams and inner visions of Christ every day, but that does not mean that you are truly in touch with him. The real visitation of Jesus is in the communion with Christ consciousness. If you are in tune with that Christ, your whole life will change. And by this, I'm not advocating religion as such, but my understanding of Christ is the depth of communion we have with our own centre, with our own being, with our own heart. And it is the journey from the mind, from the head into the heart. The journey of compassion, of awareness, consciousness, of self-realization. Christ was self-realized, as were many other masters that have come to this earth to teach us all the same thing about connecting to the depths of truth of who we are and what we are and why we're all here. And so when I talk about Christmas, I'm not talking about Christmas in the sense that we should celebrate Christmas and the commercial side of things. For me, the commercial side of Christmas is leaving my experience. I no longer put up a tree. I don't send Christmas cards anymore, and I don't do Christmas in an excessive way. For me, it's more about the connection that we have with our friends and family, but also we don't need to wait or give ourselves permission to spend time with those people that are close to us. Traditionally, Christmas is a time of coming together with families and friends, but we can do that whenever we choose to do that. I'm going to read something from Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda, and it's about his master Babaji, the Yogi Christ of modern India. Babaji. The northern Himalayan crags near Badramana are still blessed by the living presence of Babaji, Guru of Lahiri, Mayasur. The secluded master has retained his physical form for centuries, perhaps for millenniums. The deathless Babaji is an avatar. The Sanskrit word means descent. Its roots are ava, down, and tree, to pass. In the Hindu scriptures, avatar signifies the descent of divinity into flesh. Babaji's spiritual state is beyond human comprehension. Sri Yuktasvar explained to me the dwarfed vision of men cannot pierce to this transcendental star. One attempts in vain even to picture the avatar's attainment. It is inconceivable. The Upanishads have minutely classified every stage of spiritual advancement. The Siddha, perfect being, has progressed from the state of Jivanmukta, freed while living, to that of Paramukta, supremely free, full power over death. The latter has completely escaped from the Maya Shraldam and its reincarnation round. The Paramukta, therefore, seldom returns to the physical body. If he does, he is an avatar, a divinely appointed medium of supernatural blessings of the world. An avatar is unsubject to the universal economy. His pure body, visible as a light image, is free from any debt to nature. The causal gaze may see nothing extraordinary in an avatar's form. The casual gaze may see nothing extraordinary in an avatar's form, but it casts no shadow nor makes any footprint on the ground. These are outward symbolic proofs of an inward lack of darkness and material bondage. Such a God-man alone knows the truth behind relativities of life and death. Omar Khayyam, so grossly misunderstood, sang of this liberated man in his immortal scripture, the Rubaiyat. Ah, moon of my moon of my delight, who knowest no wane, the moon of heaven is rising once again. How often hereafter rising shall she look through this same garden after me in vain? The moon of delight is God, eternal Polaris, Acronius never. The moon of heaven is the outward cosmos, fettered to the law of periodic recurrence. Its chains have been dissolved forever by the Persian seer through his self-realization. Thou art hereafter rising, shall she look after me in vain? What frustration of search by a frantic universe for an absolute omission! Christ has expressed his freedom in another way, And a certain scribe came and said unto him, Master, I will follow thee wherever you go. And Jesus said unto him, The foxes have holes, the birds have their nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. Spacious with omnipresence, could Christ indeed be followed except in the over-searching spirit? Krishna, Ramana, Buddha, and Patanjali were among the ancient Indian avatars. A considerable poetic literature in Tamil has grown up around Agastya, a southern Indian avatar. He worked many miracles during the centuries preceding and following the Christian era, and is credited with retaining his physical form even to this day. Babaji's mission in India has been to assist prophets in carrying out their special dispensations. He thus qualifies for the scriptural classification of Maha Avatar, Great Avatar. He has stated that he gave yoga initiation to Shankara, ancient founder of the Swami order, and to Kabir, famous medieval saint. His chief 19th century disciple was, as we know, Lahiri Mayasaya, revitalist of the lost Kriya art. The Maha Avatar is in constant communion with Christ. Together they send out vibrations of redemption and have planned the spiritual technique of salvation for this age. The work of these two fully illumined masters, one body, one with the body. I'll show you a picture that's in here. You can see that. That's Babaji. I have helped an artist to draw a true likeness of the great Yogi Christ of modern India. The work of these two fully illumined masters, one with the body and one without, it is to inspire the nations to forsake suicidal wars, race hatreds, religious sectarianism, and the boomerang evils of materialism. Babaji is well aware of the trend of modern times, especially of the influence and complexities of Western civilizations, and realizes the necessity of spreading the self-liberations of yoga equally in the West and the East. That there is no historical reference to Babaji need not surprise us. The great Guru has never openly appeared in any century. The misinterpreting glare of publicity has no place in his millennial plan. Like the Creator, the sole but silent power, Babaji works in a humble obscurity. Great prophets like Christ and Krishna come to earth for a specific and spectacular purpose. They depart as soon as it is accomplished. Other avatars like Babaji undertake work which is concerned more with the slow evolutionary process of man. Great prophets like Christ and Krishna come to earth for a specific and spectacular purpose. They depart as soon as it is accomplished. Other avatars like Babaji undertake work which is concerned more with the slow evolutionary progress of man during the centuries than with any one outstanding event in history. Such masters always veil themselves from the gross public gaze and have the power to become invisible at will. For these reasons, and because they generally instruct their disciples to maintain silence about them, a number of towering spiritual figures remain world unknown. I give in these pages on Babaji merely a hint of his life, only a few facts which he deems is fit and helpful to the public. No limiting facts about Babaji's family or birthplace, dear to the analyst's heart, have ever been discovered. His speech is generally in Hindi, but he converses easily in any language. He has adopted the simple name of Babaji, revered father, or the titles of respect given to him by Lahiri Mayasaya's disciples are Mahamuni Babaji Maharaj, Supreme Ecstatic Saint, Mahayogi, greatest of yogis, Trambak Baba and Shiva Baba, titles of avatars of Shiva. Does it matter that we know not the patronymic of the earth-released masters? Wherever anyone utters with reverence the name of Babaji, Lahiri Mayasaya said, the devotee attracts an instant spiritual blessing. The deathless guru bears no marks of age on his body. He appears to be no more than a youth of 25, fair-skinned, of medium build and height. Babaji's beautiful, strong body radiates a perceptible glow. His eyes are dark, calm, and tender. His long, lustrous hair is copper-coloured. A very strange fact is that Babaji bears an extraordinarily exact resemblance to his disciple, Lahiri Mayasaya. The similarity is so striking that in his later years, Lahiri Mayasaya might have passed as the father of the youthful-looking Babaji. Swami Kababalananda, my saintly Sanskrit tutor, spent some time with Babaji in the Himalayas. The peerless master moves with his group from place to place in the mountains. Kabalananda told me, his small band contains 2 highly advanced American disciples. After Babaji has been in one locality for some time, he says, Dera Nanda Uthayo, let us lift our camp and staff. He carries a symbolic danda, bamboo staff. His words are the signal for moving with his group instantaneously to another place. He does not always employ this method of astral travel. Sometimes he goes on foot from peak to peak. Babaji can be seen or recognized by others only when he so desires. He is known to have appeared in many slightly different forms to various devotees, sometimes without beard and moustache, and sometimes with them. As his undecaying body requires no food, the master seldom eats. As a social courtesy to visiting disciples, he occasionally accepts fruit or rice cooked in milk and clarified butter. 2 amazing incidents of Babaji's life are known to me, Kablananda went on. His disciples were sitting one night around a huge fire which was blazing for a sacred Vedic ceremony. The master suddenly seized a burning log and lightly struck the bare shoulder of a chela who was close to the fire. Sir, how cruel, Lahiri Mayasaya, who was present, made this remonstrance. Would you rather have seen him burned to ashes before your eyes, according to the decree of his past karma? With these words, Babaji placed his healing hand on the chela's disfigured shoulder. I have freed you tonight from a painful death. The karmic law has been satisfied through your slight suffering by fire. On another occasion, Babaji's sacred circle was disturbed by the arrival of a stranger. He had climbed with astonishing skill to the nearly inaccessible ledge near the camp of the master. Sir, you must be the great Babaji. The man's face was lit with inexpressible reverence. For months I have pursued a ceaseless search for you among these forbidding crags. I implore you to accept me as your disciple. When the great Guru made no response, the man pointed to the rocky chasm at his feet. If you refuse me, I will jump from this mountain. Life has no further value if I cannot win your guidance to the divine. Jump then, Babaji said unemotionally. I cannot accept you in your present state of development. The man immediately hurled himself off the cliff. Babaji instructed the shocked disciple to fetch the stranger's body. When they returned with the mangled form, the master placed his divine hand on the man's head. Lo, he opened his eyes and prostrated himself humbly before the Omnipotent One. You are now ready for discipleship. Babaji beamed lovingly on his resurrected chela. You have courageously passed a difficult test. Death shall not touch you again. Now you are one of the immortal flock. Then he spoke his usual words of departure, Deradanda, Uthayo. The whole group vanished from the mountain. An avatar lives in the omnipresent spirit. For him there is no distance inverse to the square. Only one reason, therefore, can motivate Babaji in maintaining his physical form from century to century: the desire to furnish humanity with a concrete example of its own possibilities. Were man never vouchsafed a glimpse of divinity in the flesh, he would remain oppressed by the heavily maic delusion that he cannot transcend his mortality. Jesus knew from the beginning the sequence of his life. He passed through each event not for himself, not for any karmic compulsion, but solely for the upliftment of reflective human beings. His 4 reported disciples, Matthew, Mark, Luke and John, recorded the ineffable drama for the benefit of later generations. For Babaji also, there is no relativity of past, present, future. From the beginning he has known all phases of his life, yet accommodating himself to the limited understanding of men, he has played many acts of his divine life in the presence of one or more witnesses. Thus it came about that a disciple of Lahiri Mayasaya was present when Babaji deemed the time to be ripe for him to proclaim the possibility of bodily immortality. He uttered this promise before Ram Gopal Muzumdar, that it might finally become known for the inspiration of other seeking hearts. The Great One speaks their words and participates in the seemingly natural course of events, solely for the good of man, even as Christ said, "Father, I knew that thou hearest me always, but because of the people which stand by, I said it, that they may believe that thou hast sent me." During my visit to Ram Bajpur with Ram Gopal, the sleepless saint, he related the wondrous story of his first meeting with Babaji. I sometimes left my isolated cave to sit at Lahiri Mayasaya's feet in Benares, Ram Gopal told me. One midnight, as I was silently meditating in a group of his disciples, the master made a surprising request. "Ram Gopal," he said, "go at once to the Dasamed bathing ghat." I soon reached the secluded spot. The night was bright with moonlight and glittering stars. After I had sat in patient silence for a while, my attention was drawn to a huge stone slab near my feet. It rose gradually, revealing an underground cave. As the stone remained balanced in some unknown manner, the draped form of a young and surprisingly lovely woman was elevated from the cave, high into the air, surrounded by a soft halo. She slowly descended in front of me and stood motionless, steeped in an inner state of ecstasy. She finally stirred and spoke gently. "I am Mataji, the sister of Babaji. I have asked him and also Lahiri Mayasaya to come to my cave tonight to discuss a matter of great importance." The nebulous light was rapidly floating over the Ganges. The strange luminescence was reflected in the opaque waters. It approached nearer and nearer until with a blinding flash it appeared by the side of Mahataji. The condensed itself instantly into the human form of Lahiri Mayasaya. He bowed humbly at the feet of the woman saint. Before I had recovered from my bewilderment, I was further wonderstruck to behold a circling mass of mystical light travelling in the sky, descending swiftly in a flaming whirlpool, neared our group and materialized itself into the body of a beautiful youth who I understood at once was Babaji. He looked like Lahiri Mayasaya, the only difference being that Babaji appeared much younger and had longer bright hair. Lahiri Mayasaya, Mataji and myself knelt at the Guru's feet. An ethereal sensation of beatific glory thrilled every fibre of my being as I touched his divine flesh. Blessed Sister Babaji said, I am intending to shed my form and plunge into the infinite current. I have already glimpsed your plan, beloved Master. I want to discuss it with you tonight. Why should you leave your body? The glorious woman looked at him beseechingly. What is the difference if I wear a visible or invisible wave on the ocean of my spirit? Mataji replied with a quaint flash of wit, Deathless Guru, if it makes no difference, then please do not ever relinquish your form. Be it so, Babaji said solemnly. I will never leave my physical body. It will always remain visible to at least a small number of people on this earth. The Lord has spoken his own wish through your lips. As I listened in awe to the conversation between these exalted beings, the great Guru turned to me with a benign gesture. Fear not, Ram Gopal, he said. You are blessed to be a witness at the scene of this immortal promise. As the sweet melody of Babaji's voice faded away, his form and that of Lahiri Mayasaya slowly elevated and moved backwards over the Ganges. An aurelia of dazzling light templed their bodies as they vanished into the night sky. Mataji's form floated to the cave and descended. The stone slab closed itself as if working on an invisible leverage. Infinitely inspired, I wended my way back to Lahiri Mayasaya's place. As I bowed before him in the early dawn, my Guru smiled at me understandingly. I am happy for you, Ram Gopal, he said. The desire of meeting Babaji and Mataji, which you have often expressed to me, has found at last a sacred fulfillment. My fellowship disciples inform me that Lahiri Mayasaya had not moved from his day since the early and preceding evening. He gave a wonderful discourse on immortality after you had left for Dasamed Ghat. One of the Chelas told me, for the first time I fully realized the truth in the scriptural verses which state that a man of self-realization can appear at different places in two or more bodies at the same time. Lahiri Mayasaya later explained to me many metaphysical points concerning the hidden divine plan for this earth. Ram Gopal concluded, Babaji has been chosen by God to remain in this body for the duration of this particular world cycle. Ages shall come and go, and still the deathless Master, beholding the drama of centuries, shall be present on this stage, on this terrestrial stage. Thank you for listening. Let's all join in some silence now. Make yourselves comfortable. Taking some deep breaths and bringing your attention to your breath. remaining aware of your in-breath and your out-breath, and relaxing into the rhythm of the breath. If there are any feelings of discomfort, just take your awareness into that space of discomfort, whatever it might be. And breathe. much love to you all. If you missed any of this, I'll be reposting the replay now, and you can watch from the beginning. Thank you for sharing this space, for your presence. And for giving yourselves this sacred time today. Thank you. Om Namah Shivaya.